Welcome everyone, welcome to this new edition of our interviews. We have so many guests, so many coaches who are sharing their life experiences with us. Today our special guest is Terra Hayes. Terra is a self-published author born and raised in South Jersey. A certified introvert and self-proclaimed anxiety advocate, she loves helping working women overcome worry, fear, and anxiety to regain control of their lives by developing a positive mindset. Anxiety has been part of Tara's life before she even realized what it was. Tara will not label herself as a sufferer, but acknowledges that she has experienced severe anxiety. Tara is now the owner of Tarafied Publishing, which specializes in mental wellness, anxiety management, personal development, information publishing, marketing, and sales. Welcome, Tara. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. I am honored to have you here, and I am looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you so much, Sienna. Thank you for inviting me.
This is an amazing bio that you have, and your company specializes in many different fields. I am looking forward to hearing more. And I would like to start our interview today by asking you, what is your story and how did you start on this path?
Okay, so my story is, like you mentioned, I've had anxiety for a number of years. So I was at a point in my life where I didn't know which path or direction that I wanted to go on. So I went to school for accounting, and I found myself in a job where I wasn't performing at the level that was required of me. So that caused me a lot of anxiety. And I think part of it was because I was lacking confidence in my ability to perform in that skill, in that particular field. So I was let go from that job. And then I got another job in accounting, and I was let go 10 months later. So after those experiences, I said, wait a minute, Tara, you have to put a pause on it and realize what you want to do with yourself and your life. So that's when the author journey came about. So I joined a course. It was called Kindle Cash Publishing. And they said, oh, you can write books and you can publish books and you could, start making money online, so all that sounded great to me. So I was like, okay, so what can I write about? Like, what will resonate with other people? What is something that's personal to me, something that I could actually write free flowingly about? So I said, well, let me write about anxiety. So then that's where I told my personal story in my book. It's called Panic to Picnic: How to Find Your Own Personal Path to Peace of Mind. And this journey, it was a healing journey for me, documenting my story. And it's healing because when you're actually documenting it and you're getting the anxiety out, then that's what causes, that's part of the healing process, actually sharing it. So at first it wasn't really healing for me because I was fearful of what people would think after I wrote my story. But then after I began this journey, it's like, okay, this is exactly what I needed to get through my own anxiety by helping other people.
That's very inspiring. Thank you, Tara. And this is really impressive, actually, that it's kind of not very intuitive, I would say, in the sense that we get more exposed. So maybe we are more worried, that even we have even more fear. And yet you mentioned that this is actually the ingredient to heal that anxiety.
Right. And the funny thing is, as I was doing my research, while putting the book together, it is an actual thing. It says, well, if you want to help your own anxiety, help somebody else, because then that takes the focus off yourself, and then you're helping somebody else with their anxiety. So I was like, oh, wow, that really, my own path, that really is helpful for other people. So
that's amazing. And actually, this is what happens generally for those who are afraid of public speaking. This was also my case. I was extremely shy in the past, and I didn't dare to speak in front of an audience, in meetings, for example. I was getting all red. I didn't know how to behave. And exactly what you mentioned, that I put myself out there over and over again until I overcame it. And exactly what you mentioned, that sometimes we are in our mind thinking that people are judging us, but they are doing the same. They are also in their own mind. So we just have, yes, as you mentioned, to put the attention on other people. This is absolutely incredible. And I would advise our audience to do the same.
Exactly. Yeah, because I never thought that I would be in this position to be helping people. Because, like you said, I was very shy, very quiet, very introverted. So I didn't see myself doing this. And that's part of the reason why I went for accounting, because I was like, oh, I'll just sit behind a screen and I don't have to talk to anybody. But now this is something completely different. Something, doing a podcast interview, doing lives and doing, all these interviews I never thought. But once you just start doing it and putting yourself out there, you don't know what you can accomplish. So.
Thank you so much, Tara. I would like to ask you, for those who don't know or cannot identify what's happening to them, are there any triggers that maybe we can be aware of or pay attention to actually identify that we have an anxiety, that we have fears that are actually controlling our life?
Any specific triggers? I know for me, like certain places could be a trigger. Like maybe you had a panic attack, like at the mall, or you had a panic attack driving. So those are like certain triggers for people. It could be like a thought, like they could have had like an experience in a car where they felt like the car could be like basically a trigger. So basically anything could be a trigger for you. Like for me, my trigger was outside. Like I don't know if you ever heard of it, it's called Agoraphobia. So the trigger for me, like I wrote about it here in my book, but the trigger for me was when I lost my aunt. So for some reason I attributed being outside with the loss of my aunt. So it really comes down to what you're thinking and your thinking pattern. So anything basically could be a trigger for you. So for some people, like maybe even the sunrise, anything could be a trigger for you. Like, and then until you start having those thoughts, as far as like reframing those thoughts, when you get the trigger, like if you, like when you're in a car, you'll say, oh, I'm going to have a safe ride, instead of thinking, oh my God, I'm in a car. So it's really about reframing those thoughts and your triggers and addressing your triggers.
I would like to ask you next, how can people actually apply these techniques that you mentioned to put ourselves out there, to become more visible in order to improve our careers, our businesses, and maybe even relationships? Because we constantly live in this fear of getting exposed, getting judged, and actually we don't really live at our true potential.
Right. So like I actually dealt with this fear myself, like as far as the imposter syndrome. Like when I first wrote this book, I was actually promoting in author groups because I was like, oh, these are like-minded people that understand, they'll get it. And like it took me a little bit to actually promote on my Facebook profile, because it was the fear of the judgment, the fear of what people will say, the fear of what people will think. It actually took me 3 months to let my personal profile know, hey, I'm an author. And then you kind of realize that people don't really, not that they don't care, but you realize that it's mostly in your own mind. Like you're thinking that people are paying that much attention to you when really they're not. Like they're really, like they really have their own issues and their own problems that they're dealing with. So they're not paying that much attention, so it's really your self-reflection that you're really most concerned about. Like most people aren't that concerned with you. So I would say I have a framework it's called the RACE, RACE. So what I do is I help people, you realize what the source of your anxiety is. So is it putting yourself out there, or is it you fear that people are going to judge you? So then you accept the feelings and the anxiety that comes along with that. And then you challenge it. You challenge those thoughts. You're like, well, are people really looking at me or judging me? Or is it me? Like, is it my own mind that are telling me that, and being too overly aware of myself? So you challenge those thinking. What will happen if I actually do put myself out there? Like, will I pass out? Will these things happen? And then most likely the things that you're fearing aren't going to happen. So then the exercise would be actually take a small step, like I did. My small steps was to first promote in the author groups. Then when I felt comfortable, I promoted to my Facebook, and then I moved over to Instagram. So I would use the RACE framework as far as putting yourself out there as far as also in your career and your relationships as well. Because like with your relationships, sometimes you're afraid of, people judging you as well. But you can take the exact same framework and apply it in business, careers, relationships.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Terra. And you mentioned actually that sometimes we just need to reframe or to look at what's happening to us from a different perspective. But I also know that sometimes this stays into our mind and maybe we don't really believe it or we doubt. Is there a way to make it very tangible, very real? Is there a way to, I don't know, if asking feedback could be an option? Is there something else that we can actually test to really prove that people are not so much into the judging as we think? Right.
Well, I actually do use journaling as well. So I use journaling as a technique to actually get the thoughts out of, the judging thoughts out of our mind. And, I use the RACE framework to journal as well. So you're actually seeing those thoughts. And then, if you can actually ask people as well, like, you can ask people that are like the people that that are following you, if they're even paying that close to your profile, and that may make you feel even better, because for me, it's like when I was first putting myself out there, I was like, oh, nobody cares or nobody's watching me. But then I was like, well, in a way that could be a good thing, because I was concerned about people overly judging me. But now if nobody's watching me, that makes it even better. So you really have to come to a point where even building up your own self-confidence as well. So these people, they might be looking at me, but who cares? I'm this amazing person. And actually speaking to yourself, if you start believing and building up your own confidence, then the people that you are fearful they're judging you, they will see your confidence. So they won't see your fears and your insecurities. Or even like I use transparency as well. So I'm not afraid to let people see me be vulnerable, and I think a lot of coaches, like I would love to see a coach. I think we're seeing it more now where coaches are, telling the struggle on their journey. But I think that's an important piece that I didn't see early on when I was watching like other coaches. But I think that people would be able to relate to someone else's transparency. So that'll be another thing that'll give you a sense of that relief. Hey, this person is watching me because I'm transparent. This person is watching me because of my struggle. So then that kind of gives people you a little more peace of mind that you don't have to be perfect. Like don't let go of the perfection. So I think that will help as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Terra. And this also reminds me of my own journey. I went through all of this and I know that I still have sometimes these limiting beliefs. And as you mentioned, that I don't dare to be vulnerable all the time. And I did this last week and I felt like this fulfillment when I put it out there saying, no, I don't have self-love 100%. I'm still working on it. And sometimes I am doubting myself. And this was well perceived actually. And as you mentioned, people are more attached, or they find the story part more relevant because they see that they are not alone.
Right.
I would like to ask you, how long did it take for you to overcome this anxiety and fear? How can people really move faster? Is there a way? And how long does it take actually?
Now, I would say that it's a daily self-regimen routine. So, and I would say that there's levels to anxiety. Like I've overcame to the part where it doesn't paralyze me anymore. Like I could have something going on in my personal life and I'm still able to move forward. But previously it would paralyze me. Like I could barely function at work. I could barely function in my house. But now it's to a point where I don't let it overcome me. Like, so when I feel I still have anxiety, I still get anxious, so overcoming is a daily thing. So you pick what works for you. Like if it's journaling, it works for you. And I exercise every day. So you'll pick exercise. It's self-care, self-love. And also previously I had no self-care routine, no self-love routine because my self-esteem was that low. So in order to overcome worry, fear, and anxiety, you have to get on a personalized peace plan daily. So you have to do what you love daily. You have to be aiming towards something, a specific goal that you want to achieve daily. And then your anxiety will diminish. Like, and I don't think it's a bad thing to still have some anxiety, because anxiety is a built-in mechanism that we need, like the fight or flight response. Like if I was faced with a grizzly bear, I would have that fear. Would they be able to run away? If I didn't have any fear, I would be just stand still and not be able to get away from the grizzly bear. So I believe that some anxiety is good. There's good anxiety, there's bad anxiety. But if you're at a point where you're struggling daily and you can't function, and that's when it's not good for you. So I believe it's a personalized peace plan daily that you have to apply. It's just like brushing your teeth. It's just like washing your face every day, showering every day. You have to have your own self-care routine every day.
Thank you so much, Terra. Absolutely. I fully agree with you. And the daily rituals proved to be the most powerful ones. And it's like exercising any muscle of the body is the same thing. It's not like going to the gym once and that's it. I have built my muscles. It's a daily routine. And I would like to ask you, how do we do this in a career, in a business environment where we have so many tasks to do, where we are maybe overwhelmed and we have all other kind of emotions, negative emotions that are coming in, and maybe we don't even have time to stop and to enjoy life and to enjoy what we are doing so that we can build that positive mindset. How can we do it?
Right. So I would say, like in a business setting, so say you're an entrepreneur. So I would say that you get yourself to a point where you're only working on your business for maybe 1 to 2 hours a day. So you'll have like the rest of the day for yourself. And then you realize that you can't get everything done in one day. Like you'll have to break everything down, like small tasks that you'll accomplish. Like if you want to get your emails out in one day or in 1 hour, you take 1 hour to get your emails out. If you want to do some content creation, you take a Sunday and you do your content creation. So also, if you have clients that you're working with, you pick a day with you that you'll schedule your clients in. So, and then when you're not working on your business, that makes time for your positive mindset. That makes time to decompress and times to actually reflect on what you've done and what you accomplished, and also award your small gains. Like a lot of us forget to award our small gains. We're looking for the big picture. We're looking for the big all the time, but it's very important to stay in the present moment, because there's things that in the future, like the future is anxiety. Like even sometimes I find myself still going into the future and I said, wait a minute, Tara, come back. Presently, we're in this moment. You have to stay here, because if you go in the future, your mind is taken to a place where it doesn't even exist yet. So then what calms me is actually like, okay, I'm here. I'm breathing. I'm being mindful in this present moment. So that helps with business as well. So you tackle your small tasks. You can't do it. Rome wasn't built in a day. So you have to take small leaps. And then so get to a point where get a morning routine. Like my routine is I get up every day now, like 5:20, and then I have my breakfast, and then I do my exercise no matter what. I never miss a day of exercise. And then, and then I journal, and then I have a schedule where I get to my next thing at my computer. So it's the same thing. So you just make sure that you're not slaving away at your laptop all day, or you're not checking emails all day. You make sure that you leave time for your self-care, self-love. And when you're not working on your business, make sure that you're working on and developing your positive mindset.
Thank you, Terra. This is so inspiring, and I love hearing your story and all the practices that you're actually applying, because I know that sometimes we just speak out of theory and we are saying to other people what to do, but when we put the actions behind our words, this is where the magic happens, and you are the model that you are actually doing it, and I am honored to have you here.
Thank you so much, Deanna.
I would like to ask you, actually, just before the last question, how do you manage to wake up at 5:20 every morning?
Well, honestly, I'm not even a morning person. Like I was never a morning person, but I know when I get up, I have what I have to do. Like I have my task for the day. So I was like, okay, if I want to get everything done, I have to start my day early. Like if I want to get my exercise in before I start my routine, then I have to get up early. And that's what, that's basically what I do. It's like, I wake up with intent and purpose. So it's like, I know I want to get all these things accomplished, and I know I want to have the rest of my day. So I have to get up and get it done. So basically, So I
I
take
believe
that.
that you are on a mission and your why is big enough to wake up and to stand up from the bed. Thank you so much, Terra. I would like to close our interview today by asking you, who are you serving and how can people contact you?
Okay, so currently I serve working introverted female entrepreneurs who are looking to gain peace of mind, purpose of time, power in life and style. And what that means is I help with digital publications as well. So anyone who wants to produce low content, no content publishing as far as journalings, planners, and also if they want to publish a book as well, like I publish my own book. So if anybody who wants to do that, and yoga instructors, boutique owners, because I have like a journal line that could help boutique owners like get more clients into their business. So basically working introverted female entrepreneurs, because I'm a working introverted female entrepreneur. So I basically,
amazing.
yeah,
I wouldn't say that. I doesn't feel.
yeah. It took me a little bit to to come out of my shell, my introverted, but naturally I am introverted. So and if they want to get in contact with me, my Instagram is Tara, TARA _Martina, MARTINA _. And I actually have a website. It's called panictopicnic.com. And that's panic, PANICTOPICNIC.com. And I'm also on Facebook. My author page is called Terra Hayes Author.
Thank you so much, Terra. I am honored and I am touched by your story and by the way you overcame the obstacles in your life and you managed to overcome this anxiety and fear and put yourself out there. This is very inspiring to me and I am sure also to our audience. So thank you once again for being with me on this interview.
Thank you so much.
And for those of you listening to us, stay connected because there is so much more to come. Inspiring stories, life lessons, and life experiences.